Welcome to episode 1, take 2 of Two Bitches on the Higher Ground Bench. We lost take 1 due to technical difficulties, and today we are talking about being discarded by friends, family, colleagues, and anything in between. So, let's get started. How would you like to start? Bitch number 2? I'm bitch 1, just so you know.
Good thing you introduced yourself.
I know. Bitch number 1. Turning it over to bitch number 2. So,
You had been... Where did this come from? I think is the first place to start.
Okay, so I've been doing a lot of thinking the last... I was going to say 24 hours, but who am I kidding? I've been
24 years.
Pretty much. About being discarded, and it's happened over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I know it stems from me, on who I am and how I behave and my personality and all of that kind of stuff.
How are you?
Sorry about that. We got interrupted by someone who came to talk to at Woofington's Post, who was fish suspicious. So back to the topic. I think it stems from me and my personality and my behaviors and my mindset and what is built inside. And I need to figure out how to stop being discarded.
One word is boundary.
Do explain, please. Elaborate.
You need to be setting boundaries.
Do you set boundaries?
No.
Okay.
I'm better at it, I think.
Okay.
Than I used to be, and that's a hard question.
Can you give us an example of how you have set a boundary?
I'm trying to think.
Okay. This could be a while. We might have long dead silence. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just trying to add some humor into this one.
I don't like you.
So let's go back to giving an example of being discarded.
Guess. It's hard to say create boundaries is it's easy enough to think about, and it's easy enough to create an idea or an ideology on it, but to put it into words is really, really difficult. So what does setting a boundary mean? If you visualize it, to me, that's like putting up a brick turret around you, which...
Okay, sorry, we've had major technical difficulties today with lots of interruptions and noise, so we've moved to a quieter spot.
By the river.
So, picking up where we left off, you were just giving an example of...
No, I was explaining boundaries, how what I was saying was the visualization of boundaries, of creating a brick turret around myself, which probably isn't healthy. That's very significant of closing myself off. So that's probably not what boundaries mean, but do boundaries mean creating that circle of salt that we learned about watching Hocus Pocus that protects you from witches and bad magic? So what does it mean to actually put boundaries around? How do you set boundaries with someone? The way that the boundaries that you set determines how people treat you.
Right.
So how do you set a boundary on how people treat you? How do you say, you talking to me like that is not okay?
Right. And there's some people that can pull that off without an issue. And I would say, like, there's certain people that I work with who do that. And there's like no questions. Like, the boundary has been set and been made that no one would even dare. But at the same time, for me, I'm in my office and I'm working, or I have somebody else in my office talking to me, and other people have no problem just walking in. And it's like, who does that? I know part of that is manners.
Okay, let me ask you though, when you say there are people that you know that have set the boundary and other people wouldn't dare choose your word, is that actually true or is that your perception of it?
Well, I'm basing it on, okay, it's probably mostly my perception. However, I have never seen anybody actually do it. Like the things that happen to me don't happen to that person.
But how do you know that?
Well, I've never seen it. I mean, maybe it does, and maybe again, I'm over exaggerating, maybe. I don't think I am, but if I am, it seems to happen all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not like something that would happen one off and you could blink and miss it. Where, like where you say, how do I know that it doesn't happen with the other person? I've never seen it happen.
Okay, but you're yeah.
Or boundaries with even, okay, let's use family as an example. There are ways that I'm treated that is very, very different than the way my sibling is treated.
Okay.
You know me well enough, obviously. It's my personality then. Like,
well,
obviously I allow myself to be discarded in the way that I am, and that's in all areas.
Okay, but when you say discarded, what do you mean? Because when I hear discarded, it makes it sound like you're put into a pile and you're not thought about, so what are you talking about exactly? Because you still have a job, you still need to get work done, you still have a certain importance in your role at work, you also still have a relationship with your mother, you also still have a relationship with your sibling. So what do you mean when you say discarded? Because when I hear that, to me it sounds like you're just non-existent in all of these areas in your life.
Okay, so maybe
in terms of the other people.
Maybe the word should be adjusted to discounted then?
Discounted. Good
discounted,
word.
not
Good word.
Discarded. So
you are Value Village when you should be, Saks Fifth Avenue or Barney's.
Yes, I agree. I should be designer, not sale rack.
Discount.
Yeah.
Be designer, not discount.
Okay, so how does one, especially after all these years, and it's embedded into me to behave a certain way, how do I stop that?
Well, is that a habit? And I'm actually asking that as a question. Is it a habit?
Isn't everything a habit?
Well, then if it's a habit, then you can change it. It's going to take work. How? I don't know.
Okay, here, let me ask you this. Have you ever, and I'm sure you have you ever come across this? So you have a certain personality and you try to be nice and you try to be accommodating without being used and walked on. Will you please stop that? You try to be helpful, useful, beneficial, I guess might be another word.
But not friends with benefits.
Ooh, gross. But where's the line where it becomes a point of now you're being used? And if you stop it, if you stop the behavior, like let's say, what would an example be? Okay, the example of being interrupted at work all the time when you're talking to people. At the very beginning, like when you first start a job and let's say boss one is in talking to you. No, not boss one. Let's say it's colleague one is in talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And colleague two comes in and just starts blah, 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 blah. At the beginning, like for me, I don't want to call it the guts. I don't have the whatever to be like, can you not interrupt? You're going to have to come back later. And so that behavior just continues. And then all of a sudden, like maybe it's a bad day, maybe whatever it is, maybe you've had enough. And that same situation happens. And then you say, excuse me, but we're having a conversation here. I'll come and get you when I'm done. And you know that the very second that employee number 2 walks out, they're telling everybody, she's a bitch.
Okay, well, first of all, I guess you have to look at it as you're not saying it in that way. Like, you just have to say, sorry, I'm just with this person right now. I'll come and get you when we're done. Rather than the way that I heard you saying, I'm busy right now. I'll get you when I'm done.
Okay, yeah.
So I think there's that. I think you have to change the
Well, I wouldn't
the perception.
say it like that, but you know.
Well, but you might, because that's the way that you're thinking that you're going to say it.
Okay.
So, number 1. Number 2, you need to not care. If somebody doesn't understand in a professional office that there's somebody else at the door or in your office having a conversation, and they can't appreciate the fact that you're having a conversation that may or may not be private, or you're just having a conversation that doesn't need to have another party present, and they can't respect you saying, oh, you know what, I'm busy, I'll come and get you really, really soon. If they can't respect that, then that's on them.
Okay. So can I give you another example?
It's also, yes, in just 1 second, it's also kind of funny that I've heard not a lot, but I've heard enough people saying that, calling it the fuck it limit, or the I don't give a fuck level anymore. So you get to a certain point where you don't care what people think about you. You still care about stuff, but you just don't care about what people think. And then you're free, no judgment, to do whatever you want. Talk however you want, do whatever you want, because you just don't care.
How do you get there?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I'm further along on that than you are, but I don't know.
Okay, so here's another scenario. Boss A. Okay, this is back to work. Okay.
Yep.
Boss A.
Figured by boss.
Boss A is in our office talking. Okay, we're having a conversation. We're talking about work. Boss B comes and knocks at the door. Well, doesn't even knock at the door. Just kind of comes in and is like, "Oh, sorry to interrupt," and starts having what is kind of an unimportant conversation with Boss A, and they start having a conversation together in my office about something that doesn't concern me, and then Boss A gets up and walks out with Boss B, even though what Boss A and I were talking about was important and a deadline for that day. How do you, that to me is discounted. You've just been thrown into the sale rack.
Well,
you're not important.
That is also, okay, but that is also, I guess, because that happens with me too, and it happens a lot where I'm trying to get instruction on something that, yes, apparently is really important, even though this could have been done a week or 2 weeks ago. And now all of a sudden it needs to be done, and I'm finally getting an opportunity to get instruction on it, but a phone call always comes up, and it's always more important. And I don't know, because I've gotten to the point with that where, okay, fine, if it doesn't get done today, it doesn't get done today. I was available, you weren't, that's on you.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I know that you do. I don't really answer to people in that sense. You do. So I guess maybe in that scenario, right when Boss B comes in to start talking to Boss A, that's when you say, I don't know if it's an option for you to say, can we schedule a time to finish this conversation because this is really important? Or for you to say, when they're in your office, excusing yourself to make a point of going, we can finish this later. I have other stuff that I need to go and get done. Will you guys have this conversation? I don't think you need to be rude about it, but it's also kind of proving the point that you're not just going to sit there while you and your boss, or Boss A and Boss B, shoot the shit about nothing really, and especially nothing that pertains to you. But for people like that, you've got to remember, I think, that their minds don't understand office couth.
That's true. And that, I guess for me, this is where it's personal for me, because that kind of scenario, I take that very personal. And first of all, it it pisses me off because people don't have courtesy. Like, it's common courtesy. You don't just walk into a conversation unless it's important.
Okay.
The building's burning down. The second part of it is that, again, it comes back to the thing that I'm not important enough to finish, and a lot of the times, god damn it, that stupid switch. A lot of times it's like what's being discussed is important, and yeah, it has a deadline, and it would only take another 5 minutes tops, but you got to push me aside to go and do something else. I'm tired of being pushed aside, is my point. And I'm pushed aside by I'm pushed aside at work, and that's an example. I'm pushed aside by
Okay, so example
sister's
would
mother.
be
My mother. Let's go back quite a long time, and there was one time where I had asked them.
Them being your parents.
Yes, them being my parents, but she was the spokesperson, and I had asked them to come for Christmas, and she said, "Oh, well, we'll try, but it just depends because I don't want the pipes to freeze." Okay, like that. It was very weird. So,
which it's really funny.
okay, so examples of being discounted. There's work, there's personal, and here's another example. So, sister who
Is older,
and she'll send me messages and like, "Oh, I love you, I miss you, I this, I that," and then she'll like, I'll tell her something, like maybe I'll confide in her on something, whatever it is, doesn't really matter, and then she goes silent, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess that wasn't really important to you, or my feelings are hurt because she just discards it.
Okay, then why don't you say anything to her? I guess that would be that setting boundaries thing.
Because I guess for me, it's like, what's the point? What's the point?
Well, what is the point?
I don't know. Okay, but
would it make you feel better?
It would make me feel better at the time, and then as soon as I was done, I'd feel bad.
Why?
Because I know that she'd probably cry.
Okay, and why is that your problem, that she's an emotionally stunted 50-something-year-old?
I don't know. But okay, so I'm just giving examples.
No,
Let's
I know, but I
dissect
mean,
it.
this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is important. You may find it uncomfortable to have this dissected and have to answer these hard questions, but otherwise, it's not going to change.
Right.
If you don't have an answer for it, if you really think that there's no point, then okay, there's no point. But if it's more of a, oh, well, what's the point kind of thing, then maybe there is a reason to do it.
Okay, well, I guess I was just trying to give some examples on work, personal, and friends.
Keep giving examples then.
Okay, so then, by the way, bitch number 2 is making faces at me right now. I get another example would be friends who, you pour your heart and soul into a friendship or whatever it is, and then when you truly need them back, they're just not there for you.
Well, I have a very strong opinion on that because I got rid of people like that, people that I thought were important to me, people who I put way too much value in, people that I let determine my value for myself, and I got rid of them. I probably ghosted them, which I don't generally condone, but in this case was the best thing I could have done, and it's been really, really good. I'm really, really glad I did. It's given me a different perspective on stuff, and there are people out there, but if you keep people like that, those who you work with may not be a choice, because at this point we are both the types of people that we won't just jump ship from a job without having something secure to go to, which is fine. So we don't necessarily have control of that, but you also don't necessarily have control of your family. You can set boundaries with your family and decide, okay, they live 8 hours away, so I only need to see them a couple times a year. Woohoo. So you can control that. The people you work with, again, which I already talked about, I don't know what I'm talking about. But your friends, those are people that you are friends with, that you have chosen to share your life with, to do stuff with. And if they don't add any value, or if they suck anything out of you, get rid of them.
Okay, so
Deal breaker.
So here,
Ladies.
here's another thing. I saw a post. I think you know from my Instagrams that I follow Gary Vee.
At Woofington's Post and at Muzzy and Fuzzy
Yes,
on Instaham.
on Instaham. So I posted this morning. It was a Gary Vee. It was a repost, and I posted. It's Gary Vee, and he says, "You're either going to define yourself for yourself, or let someone else define you." And that, I think that's what sparked this as well today. For some reason, some quotes are like, "Oh, hey, that's cool. Yeah. And then there's other ones like, "Whoa." And this one was a whoa for me.
Yeah.
And
then I'm just looking right now. And then what about the other post?
the other post from today.
Yeah.
It is painful when your feelings are easily discarded by others. I think that's where I came up with the word discarded today.
Yeah.
Discarded by others, and most unfortunate when you continue to give them the opportunity to do so. And I am very, very, very guilty of that.
Yes.
I let people, for lack of a better word, use and abuse me over and over and over again.
Yes.
And then when I finally put my foot down and get angry, they say that I'm the bitch.
Yes.
And I guess maybe, again, that reflects back to that's my fault, because I'm the one who has allowed these people to do that, and I'm the one who's stayed around over and over and over again.
Well, you did a podcast with Christopher Lawrence, and he said to me this week that he was talking to me specifically about certain things in my life that I need to make changes on in order to live a better life, a more fulfilling life, even if that means for the time being living it here. And he said, you've got to start doing things now, because the longer it goes, the harder it's going to be.
Right.
So for you to start setting boundaries, for you to start speaking up and sticking up for yourself, for you to start, as he would put it, stepping into that person that you want to be, that person who doesn't get discarded or get discounted or walked on or blah, blah, blah. It's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be painful, because you are completely changing the way that you've lived your life for all this time, the way that you were raised, the way that you were, everything in that pertaining to that, everything that you know, you need to change. You need to learn and you need to change, which is hard. I think it's a scarier thought than it actually is to execute. Because if you do it once, do you think you'll get more power from doing it more and more and more?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't know about sorry, excuse me. I don't know about you, but and again, it goes back to that scenario that I gave about my sister. When I've stood my ground, when I've stood up for myself, and I'm going to use work as an example, and I don't mean my current job, I'm talking my previous job.
Yeah.
When I stuck up for myself and stood my ground, there has always been, I'm going to say backlash from it.
Right.
And then I get really worried, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. They're going to fire me. They're going to let me go. Even though I technically haven't done anything different than employee B beside me. Employee B beside me can do that very same thing every single day. Stand up for their beliefs, stand up for their whatever, this is right, I'm right, I did the right research, blah, blah, blah. And it's fine, but for me, I get the backlash. And is it because that it's like I don't...
Okay, so then I have to ask, is that your perception of it though? Is that your perception of what happens? First of all. Second of all, we talk a lot about energy, and what you put out is what you get back. So if that's what you're worrying about and that's what you're thinking about, that, oh my God, I just told my boss that it was inappropriate to do this, now I'm worried about I'm losing my job, and that's all you're thinking about. If that's the philosophy that you believe in, where what you put out is what you get back, what do you think you're going to get back? And I had another point. It was good. I promised it was good.
Oh, there it goes. It's floating down the river.
I can't remember what it was, but trust me, it was a good one. So,
okay, listeners, trust her. It was a good one. It was a great thought. It was a great point. Yes, thank you for that point.
Well, I think my other 2 points were valid.
Yeah, they were. Okay.
That was my other point. So you're saying that you're sticking up for something that you believe in, something that is important to you, obviously, and you stick up for it, but now you're saying that you're worried about backlash from it. Then how important is it to you, really?
Okay, well, can I give you the example?
Well, can I give you something? Okay, so
kick in the head.
So for people who may or may not know, you are very much into Michael Jackson, and that is putting it lightly.
I love him.
And yet, okay, so if a boss came to you and said something really, really derogatory, like super derogatory about Michael Jackson, if it was your boss, would you say something?
Absolutely.
Okay, so why is somebody saying something derogatory about Michael Jackson, no offense, but somebody you didn't know and somebody who's been gone, why is that more important to you than sticking up for your belief that you've said to me, I deserve to be designer, not discount. So why is it somebody's belief on somebody who isn't you, somebody that you don't know, and somebody who's gone, why is that more important to you than you?
Okay, well, first of all, you're going to make me cry.
Oh no, this is a weepy podcast.
And that is it's
mic drop right there.
It's a really hard one for me to answer because I have been extremely emotional and sensitive and defending of MJ for a lot of years.
MJ being Michael Jackson.
MJ being Michael Jackson, yes.
Sorry, it's my law training that you have to, if you have a defined term, you've got to define it beforehand.
Quotes.
Yeah.
Caps. Bold. I will defend him against people that I know, that I don't know, social media, anywhere. When I see derogatory stuff, I'm like, I turn into this giant monster. And yet, yes, valid to all those points. I can't answer the reason really why. I just feel that strongly about him.
Okay, so then why do you feel that strongly about, again, I say, and sure, everybody's got that person that they feel they're advocates for.
Right.
So
Mrs. Kathy in
right.
your case.
So I did take a chance. I was really, really uncomfortable about posting something of support on Instagram for her with my whole 62 followers. But it was important for me to do that because I really firmly believe that what she did versus how she has been retaliated against is not fair, and there are quite a lot of parallels with her life and mine that I totally get her. Mm-hmm. And I really don't think it's fair, and I think it's horrible, and I think it's sad. And that was a big deal for me to put myself out there when we're talking about something so political.
Yeah.
So I think that it's good to be an advocate for something controversial, mm-hmm. if you strongly believe in it. Mm-hmm. But you and I are really that type of people. We're very, very pacifist, where we're just like, okay, we're not going to say anything. We're not going to rock the boat.
Yeah, I don't want to get involved.
And yet, you have no issue being controversial when it comes to Michael Jackson.
Right.
I am now having no issue being controversial when it comes to Mrs. Kathy. And yet, and that's really small in the big scheme of things. Michael Jackson is worldwide popular. Everybody knows who Michael Jackson is. Everybody's got a very strong opinion of yay or nay on him. Same thing with Mrs. Kathy. People absolutely love her or they hate her. So we're willing to be this little tiny itty-bitty pebble in the gigantic pond of the world, being advocates for these people, and yet we're not at the point where we're advocates for us. And we are the only us. Nobody else is going to stick up for us.
Right.
At all.
Right.
Which it's really funny because last week I had an incident where my intelligence was insulted by my boss and I was so upset. I struggle with that. I still struggle with that. I was supposed to have a conversation with him this week and I didn't. Because there is something about sticking up for yourself and being the only advocate. Like, we don't have people behind. We do, but it's not like we have an army of people, whatever the MJ fans are. You don't have an army of that. You don't have an army of gay men who absolutely love Kathy Griffin and me.
That love you? Or
Love me, yeah. We don't really have a visible army like that. We do have people who obviously appreciate and see who we are and see our worth, but that's not up to them. They can rally us and they can say, you're awesome. I truly believe in great things for you. Any of those things that people have told us, that's great, but they're not standing behind us. It's us that have to stand behind us.
Right. But
which sucks.
it does suck.
Because
and
it's hard. It's so funny when you break it down like that and go, I'm the only person. I have no issue going on the internet. Yes, I know it's the internet and getting behind a keyboard. We can hide behind that. We have no issue doing that and being controversial for somebody that we don't know, that isn't us, and yet we have an issue saying, that's not right. The way that you talk to me is not right. And we don't have to be bitches. We don't have to scream and yell and throw a table, Real Housewives of New Jersey style, or splash wine into somebody's face, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills style. We don't have to do that. We shouldn't do that if we want to keep our jobs. But we have an issue even saying, what you said to me was not okay. You coming in here, having a conversation with me, and then going and having a conversation with somebody else mid-conversation is not okay with me. Why?
Okay.
When you break it down, it's so simple, but it's not in practice.
No, it's not, and it's very difficult. And I guess that goes back to the whole question is, why, as an individual, can we not do that for ourselves?
Because is
that the way that we have been brought up?
Yes.
Is that the way that
Well, explain. Give some anecdotes of, because you've always said you're very much, you're very timid, you're a wallflower, and
I'm an introvert.
Yes,
big time.
And you've talked about things where your mother has made comments when you were little about, well, why did you say that when you were like 4 to people?
Yeah.
As a direct answer to a question that somebody asked you, well, why did you say that?
Yeah.
Or
you shouldn't have said that. You weren't supposed to say that.
Yeah. Or you wanting to go and do something in school but being told, no, you have to do this. Or. And for me, I'm lucky where I've gotten.
You have a fantastic mother, by the way.
Well, yes, I do. Absolutely, I do. But I think some of that she has translated to me a bit.
Of course.
Where
mothers and daughters, apples and trees.
I've never really been comfortable speaking out about something. Really? Well, with you I have. That's different though. But I'm so worried about rocking the boat for fear of, well, what are they going to think of me? Oh, well, what is this going to mean? Oh, well, I'm going to lose a friend. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that. And that is something that I know that I need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And my worry is coming across as bitchy. But I think that there's a line. I think that for us, if we say something that we believe in, we're going to believe, oh my God, we were such a bitch about it. Oh my God. And yet you could have somebody else who could say the exact same thing, but because their perspective on it is I'm strong and I know what I believe in, they don't come across as a bitch. I think it's their own perception that they put out. It's
right.
Their own perception of themselves that they put onto other people, that they project onto other people. So if you think that by you saying this, you're going to be a bitch, then people probably are going to think that. And I mean, there's always going to be people who are like that, where if somebody says something to you, you're like, oh, they're a bitch.
Well,
Me.
Well, hello. I mean, yeah, of course. If people at work say stuff to me, and then they walk away, I'm like, asshole or bitch.
Yeah.
But I guess here's a phrase. Here's what I want to be. Here's my goal.
Phrase me.
I want to be independently independent. Does that make sense? I don't want to have to rely on, and it goes back to that Gary Vee post. I don't want to allow myself to be defined by other people. I don't want my self-worth, how I see myself, self-worth, to be defined by how someone treats me today or how they treat me tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling. I keep telling myself, fuck it doesn't care. Fuck it, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Okay, you can say that, but you have to believe it.
I know.
So if you really break it down, if you think a colleague of yours, okay, so something happens and a colleague of yours says something to you. If a colleague of yours says something to you or does something to you, and you go to them and you say, I didn't like that this happened, and you're not rude about it, but you're very
matter of fact
and pointed about it.
Mm-hmm.
If they go home and they say to whoever, oh my God, she was such a bitch, oh, she was so horrible, how does that affect you?
Well, it doesn't, because I don't know that happened.
Okay, but let's just say that it happened, because you believe that happens anyway. You say that you're afraid.
You sound like I'm nuts.
No, but you said that you're worried that by saying something, people are going to think you're a bitch.
Yes.
So let's break this down. So the scenario I just gave you, and your colleague goes home and says, oh, she was so horrible to me, this is what she said. How does that affect you?
Okay.
You don't know that they've done this, but I'm saying to you as a fly on the wall that this person went home and said this to their partner.
Okay, well, I'm confused, because if I don't know that they said it, then how can it affect me? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having a dumb moment.
Because I'm trying to get down to your thought process of, oh my God, I don't want them to think I'm a bitch. Why does that matter?
It shouldn't.
Because you're not going to know that they think that anyway.
No,
and that's not.
It's
I know.
not my business what other people think.
Right, exactly. And so if that's what they want to think, that's fine. So I guess my question is, why do you care?
I guess it's a self-esteem thing.
But
it's
why?
a self-esteem thing, and it's a self-image thing. And it's because...
So you'd rather be a doormat who doesn't stand up and who just rolls over and takes it, rather than being and labeled as, oh, she'll do it. She'll do it. They may not exactly call you a pushover, but that's what they know you are.
Yeah.
Versus you stick up for yourself, you don't let people walk all over you, you stand up for what you believe in, and they may call you a bitch. Which is better?
Well, I'd rather be an LVP, which is Lisa Vanderpump, than I'm trying to think of a TV character that's kind of a pushover and gets the bad end of the stick all the time. You watch TV more than I do. Who's that character?
I don't know.
But
By the way, I'm having a TV-free weekend, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, good luck to you on that.
So far, so good.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one when it's been embedded in you for so long.
Yeah.
And when even your, I'm going to say parents, but it's not parents. I've talked about this a gazillion times over with you about which parent it is, but
it's your mother. It's okay. She doesn't know how to podcast. You can say it.
She doesn't have the internet. She still has a flip phone.
She calls it an intranet.
No, it's an infonet.
Oh, infonet. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So, by the way, listeners, if anybody out there knows what an infonet is, can they please help me? Because I've Googled that and I don't know what that is, and it doesn't come up with a definition. Anyway, back to the point. So, even to the point of going 100 years back and change to when I was a kid.
Well, you look good for 100 and change.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
My mother would discount me. I wanted to take a certain instrument in band. And
What instrument did you want to take?
I can't even get it out. I wanted to do percussion. And by percussion, I mean drums. And she said no.
And so what did you have to play?
Clarinet. Yeah, fair trade-off.
What did you want to take in post-secondary?
I wanted to take architecture.
And what did she make you take?
Accounting.
How is that working for you now?
It's not working for me at
Okay,
all.
good.
And then I wanted a certain type of car as my first car.
What did you want?
I wanted it was a Nissan 280. A Nissan 280. And my first car was a Ford Fiesta. Let's see what else was there. There's a lot of things. So when you do that for 100 years over and over and over again, it kind of gets embedded in you that you're not good enough. That you don't have your own voice.
Yeah, you don't have your own voice, which I think then does translate to a not good enough thing, because you don't have your own voice to say I am good enough.
Well,
it's hard. It's hard to say I'm better than this, because we're not supposed to be cocky, or you're not supposed to have a big head. But I think for the places that we're both at, but especially you, if you were to be overly cocky, you would be a good balance of confident. I think it would balance out very nicely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's good.
Yeah.
Jeez, maybe I should
Get a t-shirt.
That would be a really good t-shirt.
Or a mug. You carry it around the office. I don't know what it would say, but it would be one of those big giant, a big giant one, and it would say something.
Yeah. Okay, say that again. What did you just say?
I think if you were to be, if you had a scale of 1 to 10 of cockiness, if you were a 10, that would bring you to about a 5 or a 6. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I had a thought.
Ooh,
now
we could make it
lost
one of those, just as an aside, we could make it one of those cool mugs where it's like a thermometer, and when you put hot water in it.
Cockiness today.
Yeah, and then when it gets hot, yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I love that.
Yeah. Check back in about a year for our merch.
Yes, please. Yeah, our goal is to do merch. Definitely, of Two Bitches on a Bench. We're not on the higher ground bench anymore, but we're on the river bench.
It's nice.
It's Two Bitches on a Bench.
By the river.
By the river.
By the boat.
By the boat. Two bitches on a bench by the boat.
Anyway,
sorry. Well, I'm just, you get me babbling.
yeah, I know.
Okay, so I guess my point today is I'm just tired of I kind of feel like, if you walk into Forever 21, and I'm not like putting Forever 21
Forever
down at
21, or for American people, Wet Seal, which doesn't exist anymore, also rest in peace, or
LF. Let's talk about LF on Robertson. When you walk in there and it's like the end of a day on, say, a Friday or a Saturday, and you walk in and go, whoa.
it's like H&M.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, not H&M, Zara.
Yeah. And you walk in and go, how the fuck are you supposed to find anything in here? Like, this is disaster. That's sort of the point right now, how I feel. I don't even feel like store opening Zara. Like, everything's on its
And we're
tracks
talking
and
about
stuff.
Zara in Chinook, because I know some people have had really good luck in Zara, and some people absolutely love it, but the one in our largest mall is a disaster.
So,
it is a war zone going in there.
And that's kind of how, okay, that's good. That's how I feel. I feel like a war zone in the discount pile.
That's like Old Navy.
Yeah.
Like Old Navy in an outlet mall.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
And I don't want to be that. I want to be Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills.
I'd rather be Barney's, but okay, that's fine.
Why Barney's?
Because they're snooty in there. No, I want to be Bergdorf's.
Yeah.
I call Bergdorf's.
Okay, you get Bergdorf's and I'll take Saks.
Anyway,
but that we're making the point. But
We are.
we? I don't know. I don't want to be that anymore. But then that
Well,
goes...
stop whining about it. You've got...
Okay, that goes back to how many times have I said to you,
I've got to pick up my wardrobe.
I need to wear all my shoes. I need to wear all my clothes. And I don't do that either.
Okay, people, just to give you an illustration, this chick's closet is stocked full of stuff. If she were to wear something different, I'm talking tops, skirts, dresses, tops, pants, sweaters, outerwear, blah, blah, accessories, shoes. If she were to wear something different every single day, she would probably have enough for a year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah, probably.
And she wears the same...
I wear the same outfit. Not
3 to 4 times a week?
No. I have 5 tops with...
She's got a rotation.
I have a rotation, yeah. But I wear the same thing 5 days a week. Not every day, but in that circle of 5, I wear the same thing. And the same shoes. My shoes are
okay, so then let me ask you this. Why you have a closet to be envied.
I do.
You have tons of non-designer and designer name stuff. You've got shoes up the wazoo. You have bags. You have accessories. And giving you an idea, don't. So why is it that you continue to go and do the same thing? You wear the same outfits in rotation when you could be wearing something different every single day, and people would go, holy shit, like this, she's got a lot of stuff. So why is it that you don't?
Or why is it that I do?
That you don't wear?
Or why is it that I do wear the same thing?
Yes, yeah. Which is the same question.
Okay, I know. I was just wording it differently. I think it's a comfort. It's a comfort
Okay, what's
level.
the comfort?
The comfort is I know how those particular outfits fit. I know how they feel for me. And if I'm having a blah day, which is like every day, if I'm having a blah day, it's comfort for me to go to this outfit because I know how it feels.
What do you mean how it feels? Is it a Linus safety blanket, or is it that you know that you can put it on, you don't need to look in the mirror because it's going to look exactly the same?
Yes.
Why?
Why what?
Well, why would you put on something plain? I'll call it plain. And the same, instead of putting something together, taking the time to put something on, put it on, making it an event to get yourself dressed, and then being able to look in yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, look at my Prada belt, look at my Miss 60 shoes, look at my MJ sequin jacket, look at me, look at my Valentino bag. Why would you rather? And I'm guilty of this too, because I do wear the same outfit like 3 days a week in a 5-day week. Exactly the same. And I do my hair once a week if I'm going somewhere, and that's about it. So why? And I'm actually asking this question for you to answer it. It's not a rhetorical question. I want you to answer it. Why? Why would you rather just put on something because you know it feels good and you don't need to look at yourself in the mirror, instead of putting the time and effort in to put something together and look at yourself in the mirror and go, wow, I clean up nice, and it's a weekday? Because we're both the types of people that love getting compliments on our stuff.
Oh, I love that. I haven't been stopped on the street in a really long time where someone said, oh, excuse me, you smell really good. What perfume are you wearing? Or, oh, your shoes are awesome. Like somebody walking down the street, and you've had this happen to you. You're walking down the street and somebody, as they're walking by, they don't even stop, but they like, hey, love your bag. Hey, love your shoes.
Well,
hey, this.
I'm kind of lucky because I have a very, very specific piece that is probably one of the best things I've ever purchased, because anytime I wear it, I am a walking disco ball, both figuratively and literally. And it is such a prized piece of clothing for me now. Take that piece out of my closet. I can't wear it that often, but I know I can take it out of my closet. Even here in our Dudley city that we live in, I wore it to a midnight movie of the Rocky Horror Picture Show at Without Papers in Inglewood, and I had people coming up to me saying, "Oh my God, so awesome!" And I was waiting for the bathroom, and the photographer who was taking photos for the event, she had to say, "I need to take a photo of you top to bottom because of this jacket." And for me, I know that if I wear that jacket, it's going to be awesome. And for me, that's one piece, whereas you have, that was my braggadociousness, but you have a closet full of that kind of stuff. No, it's not a showy sequin jacket, but it's brand name individual pieces, or it's, well, you had pieces like that. And when that's the type of thing that really makes you feel worth something, because we all like to have outside factors make us feel worth something.
Of course.
So why don't you get all dressed up and strut your stuff? If you're not, strut it here. I mean, people will stare. People will go, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
And if they want to stare in a way of like, "Oh, look at her," fill your boots. Go for it. If your life is that pathetic that's all you can do, then go for it. If me dressing in a way that makes me feel so good and maybe makes other people's day when they get to go up to somebody and be like, "Oh my God, I love your outfit," that's on them.
Yes. And to answer the question,
Was there a question?
Do you want me to actually answer the question?
I don't know if there's a question, but yes, go.
You asked me why I go back to
I'm
the same.
parched. Go ahead and answer.
No wonder you're parched. You asked me why I resort to the same thing every day when I have a closet full of stuff. Thank you for that very long-winded rant on my clothing, though, because I love that. She just poked me, by the way. That's why I made that vulgar noise. I guess, again, I say I do it because I know how it feels. And so if I'm having a bad day, I don't have to worry about my clothes. And if I'm okay, so here's my thing.
We're getting deep here, people. Buckle up. She's talking about her thing.
I wear no, how do I want to start this? Because this isn't going to make sense to most people because I'm so odd. I'm fidgety when I wear something that I don't usually wear. Really, really fidgety.
She can't wear stuff that goes over top of her belly button because she can't breathe.
So,
whereas I would do anything for high-waisted. Anyway.
Okay. Thank you for divulging that. There has been, and I've lost count of how many times I have taken a pair of shoes out of the closet that I maybe have worn once, maybe I haven't worn them yet at all. I've taken them out, I've put them on, I've made it from my door on the 3rd floor to the car in the parkade, and I take them off. Because I always take safety shoes with me. And by the time I get to the car, I've taken them off.
Okay.
Okay, you have something to say.
Well, I was just gonna do a shout out to the Unqualified podcast with Anna Ferris, and we listened to part of it where she had Rosie O'Donnell on, and they were talking with Aubrey Plaza and talking about a quote that Rosie had about safety net. Do you remember that?
I don't think I listened to it.
We listened to it on the bench. It was like a 2-minute thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where they were talking about if you have a safety net, you're going to fall into it because you have a safety net. They were talking about in terms of taking a chance with your career. But you take your safety shoes, and by having your safety shoes, what does that mean? You know that by the time you get to the car, you have these shoes.
Yes.
Do you want to?
Okay.
I'm trying. This is a learning thing for you. I'm trying to
This
get you to fill in
podcast
the...
wasn't supposed to be about me and my clothing, but
Well, it's about safety. It's about boundaries. It's about
discounts.
stepping into... Do you ever wear something and you feel insanely powerful? Like, I got, when we were in LA, there's this great store, which I'm not going to reveal the name because I don't want people to go there. And I got a Celine Phantom bag, which is a bag that I have always wanted. And it retails for like $5,000, which I can barely afford a $5 coffee. But I got it on a crazy sale, and I feel so insanely powerful when I get to carry it. I feel so good. I feel invincible. I feel like I could do anything. So I've got to ask with you... 1 second.
1 second, please.
So I've got to ask with you, if you wear something, don't you ever feel powerful?
I know that my answer to that is yes, but because it's been so long, I've been stuck in this black repeat rut for so incredibly long.
Not that there's anything wrong with black. I love black.
Well, I do too, but I don't really remember the last time that I wore something and I felt like, yes.
Right, but it's possible. With what's in your closet, it's possible to go shopping in your closet.
Yes.
And you could put something together that could make you feel powerful.
Yes.
Okay. So, which then leads me, you're wearing something, you feel powerful. You're a boss bitch.
I want to be a boss bitch.
Not a bitch boss.
No, not a bitch boss, but a boss bitch.
Boss bitch.
Yeah.
So I need you to imagine. So we're going to do a bit of a visualization.
Okay. We're doing a visionary.
You, and anybody who's listening to this who feels the same way, do the same thing, I think. Okay. Do this visualization. So you get up, you go to your closet, you make maybe you give yourself an extra 15 or 20 minutes in order to make an event of getting dressed. So
I'm sorry, how long did you say to take
15 to 20 minutes extra.
Oh, Jesus. Really? Oh, sorry. Do you know how long it takes me to get ready in the morning? Do you know how hard it is for me to get out the door? Okay, anyways, carry on. I don't have to be out by 6 o'clock.
We need to tackle one thing at a time.
Okay.
So you...
Am I OCD
yes.
or ADD?
Both.
Okay. Anyway, carry on.
I think there's a little ADHD in there too. All the letters of the alphabet are in there. ODD. So, okay, so you go to your closet and you go and you pick something out. And you put together something really, really awesome. Something that you feel so good about. Something that you're comfortable in, but something that is incredibly put together.
Okay, just a minute. Can I ask a question? Sorry.
Visualizations don't work if you interrupt.
I'm sorry, but can I just ask a question, though?
Yeah.
You just said something that you feel comfortable in. For me, that's my black leggings.
Well,
and I have to stop wearing those.
When I say comfortable, I mean they're comfortable to wear, not something that you're comfortable in.
Okay.
So, something that you won't be like, oh my God, why did I wear this? Oh, it's tugging. It's something that you're comfortable, something that's comfortable to wear.
Okay.
Sorry. So again, I'm going to start this now. I'm going to start this. So you put this together and you put it on, and you're putting on, something that's really, really soft on your skin, and then you get to put something really cute over top, and then you've got a nice little belt to put on your pants or your dress. You pick out awesome shoes that are both comfortable and make you feel really good. And then maybe you've got a bag that you regularly use, or you pick a bag out that you absolutely love to use, but you've been saving it. No, you're going to take it out and you're going to use it. And you look in the mirror and you go, yes, this is it today. So you do that, you're feeling really, really good. You have a good healthy breakfast that aren't donuts or cookies or chocolate. And you get out the door and you're just feeling really, really good. How do you think you're going to react when something gets thrown at you in a day. Like if you're feeling powerful from the start, you're feeling good when you wake up, you're feeling powerful and good about the effort that you've put into your appearance for that day, and you're feeling powerful and boss bitch and anything else, do you think that you would have the chutzpah to stick up for yourself with something in a non-bitchy way?
Potentially.
Well, then maybe that's the experiment.
Okay. I'm still trying to think of like clothes at this point in time. That's why.
As opposed to not like clothes?
Anyway. Yeah, it probably is the experiment.
That's the experiment. That because I am totally qualified and accredited. That is your homework. I think this week you need to create a ritual. You need to get up in the morning, give yourself enough time to be comfortable so you don't feel rushed, and you put together something really, really awesome, and you make sure that you take the time to put something on, and don't just put it on and be like, oh no. You need to take the time to put it on and let it sit on your body and get the energy from that outfit. And I think you also need to take the time to stand in the mirror and go, nice.
Okay, well,
yeah.
You may not know this about me, but I don't like to look in the mirror.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm trying, but this is also what I'm saying to you though, is you just want to put something on and not look in the mirror and go.
Right.
So you...
And not that okay, just a second. Just to clarify, I do take one glance in the mirror to make sure that my dress isn't tucked into my pantyhose or something like that. I do a check for that kind of stuff.
But I don't mean just like a safety check in the mirror. I mean, you stand in front of the mirror and you look at yourself at angles. Like what you do, will you do that when you go shopping? When you go and you try on jeans, or you try on a dress, or you try on a shirt, you go and do that. Yeah. So what's the difference? You're shopping in your own closet.
I guess I've just dug myself into such a funk that I don't do that when I'm at home.
Well, you need to do that. That is your homework for this week.
Oh,
that's what you need to
crap.
do. 3 days this week, you need to wear something different. You need to go and you need to curate an outfit.
On my own?
On your own.
Have you seen how I put stuff together sometimes?
Own it.
Okay.
But you need to curate your outfits 3 days this week, and you need to have a fitting room moment where you go and you look at yourself and you get a feel for the entire outfit.
Here's what I would like. I would like that that gay man who has a sense of fashion, like Ralph.
That's me.
Okay, or you. Who could be like, bitch, you're rocking this. Or, bitch, take it off.
Well, be that.
To myself?
Yeah.
Well, then mine's always going to be, bitch, that's ugly, get it off, put the leggings back on.
Okay, well, I guess you just have
no
reason
hope?
not to do it.
I have no hope. I'm hopeless. Okay, I think we need to have another session of discount.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to reconvene, and I can give you my results of how I was. And then next one, I get to assign homework for you. How about that? Is that fair?
Go for it.
Okay, bitch.
Bye.
So, will you come back?
Yes.
Thanks, bitch.
Bye.
Bye.